everyone. Can I please request everybody to take their seats? Institute of Culture and Shiva Progya Initiative feels privileged to welcome you all for the memorial program in the memory of Mananiya Parameswaran ji and Adaraniya Kumar Barthakur ji. My name is Harpreet Das and I am the Joint Secretary of Vivekananda Kendra Institute of Culture. At this moment, I would like to give a brief introduction of our beloved Mananiya Parameswaran ji, who was a sage. This is what would strike anyone who interacted with Mananiya Shri Parameswaran ji, the third president of Vivekananda Kendra Kanyakumari, a deep and abiding student of Swami Vivekananda and Maharishi Aurobindo. Parameswaran ji was a scholar, writer, speaker and a thinker. Commitment to Bharatiya thought made him found the Bharatiya Vicharan Kendram, and this initiated the change, research and resurgence. On his passing away, the government of Kerala gave him a state funeral. Such was the respect he commanded. And whenever he spoke, it was not just a speech, it was a roar of a lion. Adaraniya Barthakur ji needs no introduction in the Northeast. Vivekananda Kendra founder President Mananiya Eknath Ranade himself entrusted him with implementing the vision of what transformed into Vivekananda Kendra Institute of Culture. He took out time for organization, for regional and national cause. In Vivekananda Kendra itself, he headed several of the Kendra's initiatives, including being the member of its All India Managing Committee. For many, he was their father, mother, elder brother, all rolled into one. Hence he was addressed by young and old alike with affectionate respect as Dipakta. It was under his able leadership that the VKIC evolved as an intellectual fountainhead of the Northeast. Vivekananda Kendra Institute of Culture and Shiva Progya Initiative cordially invite you and your family for the lecture in memory of our stalwarts. Shiva Progya Initiative has been founded by Shri Gautam Prasad Barua, who is no less a thinker and a philanthropist. He founded this initiative in the fond memory of his parents. We thank you for sponsoring this event. Vivekananda Kendra is an institute of culture. The idea behind the institute is to study, do research and propagate the national unity of India, as understood by our ancient seers and cherished by the great sons and daughters of India throughout her long history and spelled out by modern sages like Swami Vivekananda and Mahayogi Aurobindo. We have given a brief introduction of our objectives as well as our achievements in the folder that is provided. Now I begin the ceremony, and we will begin the event with an auspicious note by chanting Mangala Charan. Our honorable dignitaries to kindly take their seats on the dais. May I request Dr. Joram Begi, Chairman, Vivekananda Kendra Institute of Culture, to kindly accompany Professor Ramesh Chandra Deka ji, Vice-Chancellor, Cotton University. Dr. Junali Devi, Assistant Director, VKIC, to accompany Srimati Seema, Rekha, Bhuyan ji. Professor Parimal Bhattacharya, Director VKIC, to kindly accompany Professor Sampadananda Mishra ji. May I also request Dr. Rahul Majumdar, Member Executive Council VKIC, to accompany Shri Githart Goswami ji. I'm sorry, he's just sent a message that he has gone to Dema ji. I'm so sorry. Sorry, Dada. On this day, let us offer our gratitude to Mananiya Eknath Ji Ranade, founder Vivekananda Rock Memorial and Vivekananda Kendra Kanyakumari through a geet by Vivekananda Kendra Karyakartas.
Hey
very soulful and warm tribute to Mananiya P, our founder, Vivekananda Rock Memorial and Vivekananda Kendra Kanyakumari, I am elated to introduce and felicitate our distinguished dignitaries this evening. I take this opportunity to introduce Professor Ramesh Deka ji, Vice-Chancellor, Cotton University, who will be presiding over this event. May I request Dr. Saranand Theori, President Theori Sahitya Sabha and Convener Theori Seminar, VKIC, to present him with the Adaraniya souvenir and VKIC publication books. Honored to have Honorable Chief Guest of the program, Shrimati Seema Rekha ji, IAS, Retired Secretary, ITFC Department, Government of Assam with us. May I request Shri R.S. Joshi, Chairman Tejasvi Bharat, VKIC, to kindly present her with Adaraniya, souvenir and VKIC publication books. It is indeed a pleasure to introduce you to our speaker of the evening, Professor Sampadananda Mishra ji, Director, Center for Human Sciences, Rishihood University, Sonipat, Haryana, India. May I request Dr. Joram Begi, Chairman VKIC, to kindly present him with an Horai, Selang Chadar and VKIC publication books. I request Ram Swarup Lakhotia ji, our EC member, to felicitate Gautam Prasad Barua ji, who is here with us from Shiva Progya Initiative. I would like to request Dr. Joram Begi, Chairman VKIC, to kindly deliver the welcome address of the program.
Very good evening to everyone who are in the hall, especially Chairman of the program, Professor Parameswaran Deka, Honorable Vice-Chancellor of Cotton University, our Chief Guest, Seema Rekha Bhuyan, the former Secretary, Indigenous Tribal Faith and Culture Department, Government of Assam. Our most important person in this hall will be delivering the memorial lecture, Professor Sampadananda Mishra is Director, Center of Human Science in the Rishihood University, Sonipat, and our Director, Parimal Bachcharji, distinguished personalities sitting in the hall, especially Indra Baido, Gautam Prasad Barua, and others, other participants, especially our Karyakartas, well-wishers, and this is university. I expect a lot of faculty members and students from the Cotton University and other people who are participating here, and the media friends. I, on behalf of the VKIC and on my own behalf, extend my hearty welcome to all of you to this very important function. My very special welcome is due to Professor Ramesh Deka, who is in fact the chief host of this program. We are holding the program in his campus, in his hall, and we try to associate with you. As I know, now Cotton University, then Cotton College, is the oldest higher education institution in the entire northeastern region. They are very pioneering in higher education institutions. You are steering the wheel of that higher education seat. I welcome you, sir. And I do also welcome Madam Seema Rekha Bhuyan, IAS, who has been, recently Secretary of Indigenous Travel, Trade and Culture, Department of Government of Assam, and that department always closely associated with VKIC in many programs, and it's a unique department but also a very important department in the region. I welcome you, madam, and of course our speaker of the program, Professor Sampadananda Mishra. As I said, that he is a Pandit, Sanskrit Pandit by himself, devoted totally for the Indian knowledge system, Indian culture. He is going to deliver lecture on this memorial lecture, and of course our friend P.C. Bachcharji and others. While welcoming all of you, I must say a few words for what we are going to deliver lecture here. This task has been made much lighter by my Joint Secretary, Madam Bharti Das, giving introduction to Parameswaran ji, Mananiya Parameswaran ji. She has given you all the information, but I would like to add that he has been Padma Shri awardee in 2004 and Padma Vibhushan in 2018. Another important thing is that he has been the president of Vivekananda Kendra for long 20 25 years, starting from 1995 till his death in 2020. He has been guiding the Vivekananda Kendra activities, its expansion, development throughout the country. And himself was a great scholar, writer, thinker, and selfless contribution for the service of the nation he did it. So it is worth that we arrange such memorial lecture. Similarly, we would have done it separately, but we thought that it's always better to combine it, and because of the similarity of the contribution, Dipok Kumar Barthakur, whom we popularly called as Dipok Da, has been also contributing a lot, not only in Assam, but also in whole of the region, and of course of the country also. As it has been mentioned, he has been member of the All India Committee of Vivekananda Kendra. Especially his contribution to the Vivekananda Institute of Culture is that, in a way, I must say that it was his idea of coming up of these important institutions in the region. He has been the founder chairman of this VKIC right from its inception in 1996, and he continued till his demise in 2022. That means long 26 years he has been the chairman of this VKIC. And as far as today's topic is concerned, Indian knowledge system, IKS, in short it is called. We did not hear much before, but recently, especially after the introduction of new education policy, National Education Policy 2020, this Indian knowledge system has been given a lot of importance. It has recommended that all level of education, this Indian knowledge system should be introduced. It's because if it's not only the Indian thought, not only Indian philosophy, Indian science, Indian mathematics, many things that India has given to the world. And that is why it is said that if India dies, who live? Or if India live, who dies? This is so much of the contribution. You must be hearing the popular phrase that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the entire world, this kind of inclusive development, the approach that world needed today. Probably this is taken in the letter and the spirit by the people of the world. We may not have the Russian-Ukraine war or Israel or this Palestine war, or maybe Hamas war you call it. These things might have not happened. So that is why it is relevant today. And that is why for these two important personalities in their memory, we have chosen this topic as a relevant topic for not only for us, for Indians, but for the entire humanity. So therefore, we look forward to hear from Professor Mishra, who is an expert on the subject. With this, once again, I welcome all of you and have taken benefit from this lecture. Thank you.
We would now watch a short documentary on Mananiya Parameswaran ji and Adaraniya Kumar Barthakur ji.
The island of Majuli along the Brahmaputra in eastern Assam. One of the Kannauj Brahmins named Bhuyan caught the attention of then Ahom King Pratap Singha, who had by then restored an old Shiva temple in Negreti near Dergaon in present-day Golaghat district. He lost no time in appointing Bhuyan as the priest of the temple and conferred upon him the title Barthakur. It was in this family during the first quarter of the 20th century that Dipok Kumar Barthakur was born. From a young age, Dipok showed his zeal for serving the community in whatever way he could. His foray into social and cultural activities began soon after his school final examinations when he was just about 17. Sitting on the banks of the Brahmaputra in Guwahati's Ujan-Bajar locality along with his friends, Dipok gave shape to his desire to set up a cultural club to promote theatre and art. Yes, this was how the new art players was formed that would emerge as the harbinger of the theatre movement in Assam. But that was just the beginning. Over the years, he went on to be associated with several organizations of repute such as the Vivekananda Kendra, Bharat Vikas Parishad, Shishu Shiksha Samiti and Nagarik Samabay Bank. He was instrumental in establishment of the Sri Sankadev Nitralaya and the Balaji Temple in Guwahati. The person who had the most influence in his life was Eknathji Ranade. Eknathji was the General Secretary of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh RSS and was the key man behind the establishment of the Vivekananda Kendra. It was on his asking that Dipok had joined the RSS in 1963. In the years that followed, Dipok Barthakur would become one of the key movers and shakers of the RSS in Assam, someone who would help the organization gain a firm footing in the region. And even though Dipok had plunged into public service, he also realized that he had to earn a living too. This led to the establishment of the LB Enterprises in 1969, a firm he named after his father Lokeswar Barthakur and mother Birojabala. Over time, the business diversified and at present, the LB Group consists of 4 group companies: LB Mediservices Private Limited, LB Enterprise Private Limited, LB Agro Private Limited and Dehing Tea Company Private Limited. The LB Group, which has grown to become a family of around 800 employees, celebrated its 50th year of foundation in 2019. In between these activities, Dipok found his life partner Indira, whom he married on 7th February 1969. A strong pillar of support to Dipok, Dr. Indira Barthakur soon took over his share of responsibilities so that Dipok could concentrate on his social and business commitments. Her constant presence by his side helped Dipok rise further in his public life. Dipok and Indira were blessed with 2 daughters, Nivedita and Amrita, who have grown on to become successful individuals in their own right. With 3 grandchildren, Aryan, Raghav and Ananya, Dipok is now a happy grandfather. Dipok Barthakur was also a keen witness to the activities in the state during the days of the emergency as well as the Assam agitation. He has also been witness to the growth of the BJP in Assam and has been intricately linked to its consolidation. However, he has chosen to stay away from the limelight. Dipok's selfless work for the betterment of the society has brought him many laurels, including the first Swami Vivekananda Karma Yogi Award and the Man Lakshman Rao Inamdar Award. In March 2021, he was also conferred a PhD honoris causa by the Krishnakanta Pandikul State Open University, KKH-SOU. In 2016, Dipok was appointed the Vice Chairman of the State Planning Board by the newly formed BJP-led government. The board was later rechristened as the State Innovation and Transformation Ayog, SITA. During his tenure as the Vice Chairman of SITA, Dipok has been able to provide his advice and guidance to the state government on several critical matters. The various projects and activities taken up by SITA, like development of a smart platform for promotion of renewable energy in Assam, study on floods and impacts on livelihood in rural Assam, study on scaling of youths in Assam, among others, are a reflection of his vision for a better Assam. A developed and vibrant Assam, which is economically self-reliant and where the people are content and happy, has been a long cherished dream of Dipok Barthakur's. He has dedicated his entire life in this pursuit, and now, as he reflects back on his life, he is optimistic about the future of Assam.
राष्ट्रीय स्वयंसेवक संघ के वृत्ति स्वयंसेवक, कुशल संगठनकर्ता, अध्येता, अनुसंधाता और महान विचारक पी परमेश्वरन जी का देहावसान संपूर्ण देश के लिए एक अपूर्णीय क्षति है। संघ के वरिष्ठ प्रचारक पद्म विभूषण पी परमेश्वरन जी को पूज्य सरसंचालक और माननीय सरकार्यवाह जी ने श्रद्धांजलि देते हुए कहा, स्वर्गीय श्री परमेश्वरन जी का ध्येय समर्पित ज्ञान साधनारत संग शरण तथा स्नेह में सादगी पूर्ण जीवन ही उस पथ पर हमारे लिए प्रकाश व प्रेरणा बनेगा। पी परमेश्वरन जी के निधन पर कांग्रेस और वामपंथ से जुड़े लोगों ने भी उन्हें श्रद्धांजलि दी। परमेश्वरन जी का व्यक्तित्व ही ऐसा था कि केरल के मुख्यमंत्री ने कहा कि हमारे मतभेद भले ही हों पर मनभेद कभी नहीं थे। परमेश्वरन जी का जन्म 1927 में केरल के अलप्पुझा जिले के मुहम्मा में हुआ था। विद्यार्थी जीवन से ही परमेश्वरन राष्ट्रीय स्वयंसेवक संघ से जुड़ गए। परमेश्वरन जी ने आपातकाल विरोधी सत्याग्रह में बढ़ चढ़कर भाग लिया था और इस दौरान वह 16 महीने जेल में भी रहे थे। समाज व राष्ट्र को सर्वोपरि मानने वाले स्वयंसेवक परमेश्वरन जी ने केरल वासियों में राष्ट्रवाद को बढ़ावा देने के लिए 1982 में भारतीय विचार केंद्र की स्थापना की। आपने स्वामी विवेकानंद, श्री रामकृष्ण परमहंस, महर्षि अरविंद और मार्क्स के विचारों का गहराई से अध्ययन किया था। साथ ही आपने संस्कृत, गीता, रामायण का भी गहन अध्ययन किया था। बचपन में उनके घर में संस्कृत में ही बातचीत होती थी, जिसका उनके बाल मन पर गहरा प्रभाव पड़ा। विवेकानंद शिला स्मारक के निर्माण के समय से ही परमेश्वरन जी इस कार्य से जुड़े थे। 1984 में विवेकानंद केंद्र के अखिल भारतीय उपाध्यक्ष का दायित्व संभाला। 1995 से अंतिम समय तक विवेकानंद केंद्र के अध्यक्ष का दायित्व भी संभाला। साथ ही विवेकानंद केंद्र पत्रिका और युवा भारती मासिक पत्रिका के वे संपादक थे। उनके 90वें जन्मदिन के समय विवेकानंद केंद्र ने उन सारे संपादकीय और विवेकानंद केंद्र में दिए व्याख्यानों पर हार्ट बीट्स ऑफ हिंदू नेशन नाम से 3 संचों की पुस्तक माला निकाली। स्वामी विवेकानंद के 150वें जयंती समारोह में अलग अलग विचारधारा के 108 विचारवंतों से स्वामी विवेकानंद पर लेख लिखवाए और उसकी एक पुस्तक निकलवाई। 2012-13 में हुए इस स्वामी विवेकानंद सार्धशती समारोह के उद्घाटन में उन्होंने बताया था, भारत के इतिहास की ऐसी 2 घटनाएं जिनके कारण दिशा बदल गई और भारत का भाग्योदय हुआ। स्वामी विवेकानंद का शिकागो का भाषण, जिसके कारण विश्व का भारत के प्रति दृष्टिकोण बदल गया और धर्म, गीता, योग सीखने विदेशी लोग भारत आने लगे। भारतीयों का आत्म गौरव उन्होंने पुनः प्राप्त करवाया। स्वामी विवेकानंद की जन्मशती के उपलक्ष्य में कन्याकुमारी में बने विवेकानंद शिला स्मारक ने पूरे भारत को एक किया और चीन के साथ युद्ध हारने पर खोया हुआ विश्वास फिर जगाया। जनसंघ के दिनों से ही परमेश्वरन जी पंडित दीनदयाल उपाध्याय, अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी और लाल कृष्ण आडवाणी जैसे नेताओं के न केवल निकट संपर्क में आए, अपितु इन विभूतियों के साथ काम करने का भी उन्हें अवसर प्राप्त हुआ। भारतीय जनसंघ में परमेश्वरन जी सचिव और उपाध्यक्ष पद पर रहे और 1977-1982 तक वे नई दिल्ली स्थित दीनदयाल शोध संस्थान के निदेशक पद पर भी रहे। जीवन के लगभग 6 दशक तक समाज व राष्ट्र के लिए समर्पित भाव से काम करने और उल्लेखनीय सेवा के लिए भारत सरकार ने पी परमेश्वरन जी को 2004 में पद्मश्री और 2018 में पद्म विभूषण से सम्मानित किया था। एक प्रखर विचारवंत, धरातल से जुड़ा एक समर्पित कार्यकर्ता, एक सच्चा मार्गदर्शक, एक आधुनिक महर्षि के युग का अब अंत हुआ। किंतु ऐसे सूर्य जैसे संतों का कभी अस्त नहीं होता। उन्हें श्रद्धांजलि देना है तो इस राष्ट्र के लिए, राष्ट्र के ध्येय के लिए समर्पित होकर अधिकाधिक कार्य करना होगा। भारत का मूल विचार सनातन हिंदू धर्म संस्कृति को गहराई से समझना होगा और अपने जीवन में उतारना होगा। एक समर्पित स्वयंसेवक, प्रतिबद्ध कुशल संगठक, लेखक, कवि, अनुसंधाता और संघ विचारक पी परमेश्वरन जी की पावन स्मृति को सादर नमन।
After this emotional moment, may I now invite the Honorable Chief Guest, Srimati Seema Rekha to kindly deliver her address.
Namaskar. Respected Professor Sampadananda Mishra, Professor Ramesh Chandra Deka, Vice-Chancellor Cotton University, Dr. Joram Begi, who is the chairman of the Vivekananda Kendra Institute of Culture, Professor P.C. Bhattacharya, Director VKIC, distinguished guests, and all present here today. A very good evening to each one of you. It is truly a privilege and honor to be present here today amidst this august gathering to discuss and witness dialogues on Indian knowledge system and its relevance in current times. I have always believed that India is a land of bounty, rich in culture, heritage, art, science, technology, and most importantly, acumen. We are not only rich in intellect, but also extraordinary prescience. I think we have been blessed to be progenies of such great minds that we all carry a super gene amongst us and within us that is highly capable of ingenuity and contributes supremely to this era. It is indeed a delight to be a part of this event organized by the Vivekananda Kendra Institute of Culture, Guwahati, which has given me this great opportunity. Today, as we assemble here, we introspect on the ideas, ideologies and theories of Mananiya P. Parameswaran and salute his vision of national reconstruction through Bharatiya Vichara Kendra that aimed at study and research. His propagation of the Gita decade that clearly enlightened us that comprehensive life sciences was a solution to the social problems. It also showed how the Indian knowledge system and the Bhagavad Gita was a comprehensive philosopher and guide to modern problems. The sayings in our folklores, the professors in our fables have not only inspired us, but have also, when applied, can be such remedies to contemporary issues of mental wellness, anxiety, loneliness, disorders of any kind, etc. Our local tales greatly motivate us and morals boost and can provide us the much needed inspiration to get going with our mundane technology-induced life. Of course, the modern gadgets, technology, application, software are ubiquitous today, but the addition of the research, ground level insights, value system of the Indian society, the mentors and the mantras of our ancestors will only enhance our cognizance and help us in our day-to-day functioning. From mathematics to science to health-related foods and practices like yoga, asanas are all imbibed from our Indian knowledge and our great ancestors and have blessed us with a plethora of such data that we can only extrapolate and benefit from the same. My special mention today is to Adaraniya Dipok Kumar Barthakur sir, who we fondly call as Dipok Da, for his remarkable contribution to society and upliftment of women. He was a leader, a visionary, who contributed to the most crucial element in society, schools and colleges. He strengthened the knowledge system in Assam and gave us concrete platforms to apply our indigenous knowledge and inventiveness for the society and make the world a better place. Indian knowledge system have left an indelible mark on global thought. The Indian National Education Policy, as enacted in 2020, has emphasized the inclusion of the Indian knowledge system into its curriculum at all levels of education. The Indian knowledge system comprises of Gyan, Vigyan and Jivan Darshan that has evolved out of experience, observation, experimentation and rigorous analysis. It is a well-structured system and process of knowledge transfer. The Vedas, the Upanishads are all part of the Indian knowledge system. As such, Indian knowledge system have a very strong foundation in Indian culture, philosophy and spirituality and have evolved through thousands of years. It is now for us to protect, preserve and promote this Indian knowledge system for future generations and for the world as a whole. I would like not take much time, but would like to add that India is a land of philosophy, enlightenment, wisdom, expertise, and we have our antecedents who have guided us through this erudition. Our way forward should be to apply the foundation and basis of the Indian knowledge and value system and apply the same in the real world. I guarantee the solutions are all there. We just need to follow the path laid down. Thank you. Thanks to the Vivekananda Kendra Institute of Culture once again for this opportunity to celebrate our culture, scientific and philosophical heritage. Thank you.
Vivekananda Kendra was the institutional partner of G20, C20. Our Vice President Mananiya Didi was also the steering committee member. VKIC was the India coordinator of one of the working groups. So we have a book release of the recommendations which have been sent to G20, C20. Professor Sampadananda Mishra ji needs no introduction, but I will call upon Junali Baido, Associate Director, VKIC, to let us know something more about him.
Namaskar. Today we have among us a renowned scholar, renowned Sanskrit scholar, Professor Sampadananda Mishra, who is currently holding the post of Dean, Culture, and also the Director of Center for Human Sciences at Rishihood University, Sonipat, Haryana. A man of national as well as international reputation, Professor Mishra has been working dedicatedly on Sanskrit language and literature and contributed quite a good number of valuable books such as Sanskrit and the Evolution of Human Speech in 2006, Strutavali in 2006, Hashya Manjari in 2001, The Century of Life of Sri Aurobindo in 2005, Sanai and Sanai, Chandra and quite a few others. His unique initiative in different areas are launching of radio program called Divyavani Sanskrit Radio in 2013, Sanskrit Bala Sahitya Parishad in 2014. He also co-founded Vande Mataram Library Trust, which involves in taking initiative to translate important available Sanskrit scripts into other languages. He also worked as associate editor of collected work Vasishta Kaivyakantha Ganapati Muni, which is published in 12 volumes. Recently, he has launched a monthly e-magazine for children in Sanskrit called Saptavarna. For his immense contribution to Sanskrit language and literature, he was conferred a number of awards. Sahitya Academy Bala Sahitya Puraskar for the book Sanai and Sanai in 2018, Literary Excellence Award in 2017, Senior Fellowship Award in 2014, Maharshi Badrayan Vyas Janman in 2011. We are really proud to get such a great scholar among us today. Thank you.
I now invite the speaker to deliver his talk on the Indian knowledge systems and its relevance.
Vayam suputra amrutasya nunam taveva karyarthamiho Nishkama buddhyartha vipanna seva Prabho tavaradhanamasmadiyam Prabho tavaradhanamasmadiyam सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ओम नमः सभाभ्य सभापतिभ्यश्च। So my heartfelt pranam to all those who are present here on the dais of the dais. Guwahati now is not a pravas for me. It has become like homecoming with my close acquaintance with Vishnu and whole family here in Vivekananda, Kendra, Gauri Didi, Mira Didi and others, and the whole family of Pragjyotishpur University and many others. Slowly the acquaintance is growing. And now, all those who have come here with love and affection to bless this occasion and then bless me. So I seek your blessings before I speak about the Bharatiya Jnana Parampara. When we talk about Bharatiya Jnana Parampara, all those who have even little acquaintance with it, the depth, the height, the length, the breadth of Indian knowledge system is such that one doesn't know where to begin and where to end. Its oceanic vastness, it just carries away in its, like undercurrents. One becomes completely lost when we talk about Bharatiya Jnana Parampara. It is not something new. For thousands and thousands of years, we have kept this Jnana Parampara alive. It's called Parampara because there is always a satatya, means uninterrupted continuity. Therefore we call it Parampara. Just read a particular mantra, a particular verse from any of the scriptures. Forget about the sacred texts like the Veda, Upanishad, Tantra, Gita, many other philosophical texts. Just go to the Subhashita literature, go to the Kavya literature, go to the literary heritage of it. A single verse, a single word sometimes is sufficient to prove with what depth our ancient seers and sages, they were dealing with the various aspects of Jnana. Now, before I go, while sitting there, I just read, perhaps it is one of the most important motto which Cotton University has, Apramattena Vedhavya. A Upanishadic dictum which says, Pranavo Dhanu, Sharohi Atma, Brahmatallaksha Muchyate, Apramattena Vedhavya, Sharavat Tanmayo Bhavet. And our Rishis were of this nature. Pranavo Dhanu, Pranava, it is another name of Omkar. Why it is called Pranava? Om is at the source of everything. It is the beginning of the creation. That one single seed sound contains everything within itself. It is that Nishabdam Tat Parabrahma. It is that supreme word. Speechless, soundless, all calm, containing the entire creation within itself. And the creation, as per the realization of the Rishis, is not something static. It is a constant unfoldment of the supreme reality. Every moment there is something new which is created. That's why Pranava is ever new. It's ever forward. Pranava. So this Pranava is the Dhanu, the bow. Sarohi Atma, and our Atman is the Sara, the arrow, which has to be fixed with that Dhanu, with that bow. And what's the target? Brahma, the Lakshya Mukchite. The target is Brahman. And what is Brahman? Brahman comes from the root sound, the Brahma, means expansion. The all expansive unity, it cannot have any attribute. It cannot have a particular form. It's all expansive, it's endless. So much so that no one can go beyond it. If someone tries to cross it, runs with it, tries to go beyond it, it will always find in front of it. That's what the Ishopanishad says. It's moving yet unmoving. It is ever forward. It is so expansive that one cannot even imagine of any particular form. That Brahman, that expansiveness, that all expanding entity is the Lakshya, the target. Brahma the Lakshya Mukchite. Apramattena Vedhavyam, which is the motto here, related here. Apramattena Vedhavyam. It has to be shooted. How? Apramattena. Apramatta is anavadhanata. That means like apramatta without pramatta, without anavadhana. That means with avadhana, with attentiveness, concentrated attention, one has to shoot the arrow. Apramattena vedhavyam. And this vedha has to be in such a manner, with so much of avadhana, concentrated attention, that saravat tanmayo bhavet, that one must become tanmaya, one must become completely penetrated in that Brahman, like the arrow. Like the arrow goes and shoots and becomes one with what it shoots, the same way. And this is what was the process by which our Rishi of the past have created this entire Jnana Bhandara, this knowledge repository. Now the question is like, what is the relevance of this Jnana Bhandara? What do we do with it? Now today, you see that every one of us, everywhere, not just in India, everywhere, look at the compelling globalization. Look at the way the world is changing at what speed, in every field. It's not just in economic field, not just in science and technology, in every aspect of life, in every aspect of the world is changing. And I remember, because my acquaintance, before it happened with Sri Aurobindo and the mother, it was the writings of Ramakrishna Paramahansa and Swami Vivekananda and Shankaracharya. I was very deeply inspired by these three rishis. And then I came in contact with Sri Aurobindo. So here you see the mother. There is a beautiful photograph where the mother with folded hand, she says, "A new world is born. Will you collaborate?" We see that new world order which is taking place. Will you collaborate? It demands a great collaboration, harmonious collaboration from each member for its forward. So how do we participate in this new world order? How do we participate in this new change which is compelling? There is something which is imperative. We need to do. And this is where, when we see a great erosion of the values, the Bharatiya Jnana Parampara comes to our help. People ask question like, in this advanced stage of science and technology, so why should we look back and then think of something what has been said 5,000 years before, 7,000 years before, or 25,000 years before, or so many thousands of years before? Why should we? Albert Einstein, his words were like this, that like we owe a lot to India, who has taught the whole world how to count. And it is because of this, the advancement of science and technology. Look at Heisenberg, he says that most of the fundamental principles of quantum physics, you find it in the Vedanta, you find in the Veda. So all the great scientists, all those who have made a name in the field of science, all the great inventions which have taken place on this earth till then, if we review the whole Jnana Bhandara that we have, starting from the Veda till date, not just what has been written in Sanskrit, but all that has been there in almost all regional languages. Each and every state has contributed immensely towards and is contributing immensely towards this knowledge system. It is Indian knowledge system, it is indigenous knowledge system, and together the Bharat Varsha has contributed immensely towards this Jnana Parampara. And it's amazing to see there has been no branch of knowledge where our ancient rishis have not contributed, be it in the field of literature, be it in the field of science, technology. There was a science by which one would know when an earthquake is going to happen. We had astronomy, astrology, we had trigonometry, we had math, arithmetic, algebra. We had all kinds of science. The maritime science is something the most ancient. Our forefathers could build the ships. The shipbuilding science was very much here. We had a science of how to prepare lexicons, the dictionaries. We had a science of how to identify the diseases of various animals, including the human beings, the medical science, the veterinary science. So you put your mind into any branch of science and technology. Recently, I had written a proposal to the government of India, which was perhaps the first of its kind, and it got approved, robotics and AI principles in ancient India. And it got approved. I am working on it, and then in next few days I will be submitting my report that robotics in ancient India. We had a great science, say for example like Swamiji, when he speaks of India and Indian knowledge system, he points out to that. He says that, I come from Rishihood University. What attracted me that university is the very name Rishihood University. And the word Rishihood is the contribution of Swami Vivekananda. It is taken from his writings, his speeches. So he says that every one of us, potentially we have that Rishihood within ourselves. And it is time, the true education is to manifest that Rishihood, to manifest that knowledge, that perfection within ourselves. So where from the knowledge comes? Is knowledge somewhere outside that it has to come? The knowledge is deep within ourselves. Through a process, the education is a process by which we manifest that perfection within, that Rishihood within, that Rishitva within. And he expected that everyone must become a Rishi. Everyone must become a Rishi. And it is this Rishi tradition which has contributed, which has kept alive this Jnana Parampara. So I'll tell you that this is what is my book, the Rishi tradition of Bharat, why I was inspired to write this book, because my engagement with the Veda, Upanishad and the whole Rishi Parampara. So here I have dealt with 108 Rishis and Rishikas. The book is available on the counter also. You can pick up if you wish. So the whole purpose is, what was the realization? What was the process of that realization? And what they realized, so how it is relevant to us today. So shouldn't all those who are born in India, every child born in India, not learn about the Vedas, Upanishads, the Gita, the Tantra, the philosophical text, the language, the very language, Sanskrit, I will be talking about it, like how scientific and systematic, how great a language that our Rishis have given to us. How systematic, and then without Sanskrit, much of the knowledge that we have today would have lost. We would not have been able to create certain things. Like one can say that every content can be expressed in language. Why Sanskrit? Why Sanskrit? That also, like, I'll explain you why Sanskrit. Each and every word that one finds in Sanskrit, in the Veda, in the Upanishad, in the Tantra, in any philosophical text, in any literature in Sanskrit, each and every word is conscious of its own history and can explain you why that particular word stands for a particular object or particular idea. It is not an object-specific language. There is not a single word in Sanskrit which is object-specific. There is no word in Sanskrit for objects. It is a property-based language. You analyze every word in Sanskrit, and why it is important that we learn Sanskrit not through translation. Why this language we need to learn in its original form. Why a particular text has to be read in its original form, in original language. So here is the secret. So you say, I was just, over the discussion before lunch, we were discussing, I gave this example. We call the society as society. But what does the word society mean? Does it define what the society should be? Does it give the insight? Does it fix that how the society has to be run? No. We need to then find out if some people have defined what society is. A student of sociology, a student of anthropology, or any student who is interested to know about what society is, has to go through a lot of process of knowing what society is. But what is the Sanskrit word for society? What is the Sanskrit word for society? Samaj. Samaj. So we see that, like a human being is a samajik prani. Okay? Samaj. And if you analyze, go to the root sound where from the word has originated, it defines clearly what society is or what it should be. The word samaj, there are three components. Sam, a prefix. A is another prefix. Aj is the root sound. So, A means all inclusive. Like you say, Abalyat, Abad Vriddha Vanita. It includes everything. Okay. Sam refers to perfection, togetherness, harmony, completeness. If you want to bring out these senses, so add Sam. So some are perfect, harmonious, all-inclusive. Aj as a root sound means moving forward. So harmonious, moving forward, including all, is the purpose of the society, purpose of the samaj. How beautifully a single word contains within itself why it stands, for what it stands. The clarity that the language brings because of its transparent system of root sound, because of the transparent system of the derivation of the words, is not to be found with any other language. This is where lies the significance of why we should learn Sanskrit. In fact, the mother of Sri Aurobindo Ashram, she said in 1967 on 11th of November, on this date, because this particular date is marked as the Sanskrit day in Sri Aurobindo Ashram, she said that every child born in India must learn Sanskrit. As every child born in France has to learn French. There is no other way. You cannot stay there if you do not know French. So every child born in India must learn Sanskrit. That great sentence, statement inspired me. That's why my engagement is to bring Sanskrit to as many students, as many children, as many people as I can, through various initiatives of mine. So now, this language is at the center of the Indian knowledge system, the Bharatiya Jnana Pranali or the Bharatiya Jnana Pranali. But what again lies at the center of this Bharatiya Jnana Parampara, which no other civilization had, or if they had, not with this intensity and not with this sincerity, is the quest for knowledge. The quest for knowledge. If you look at the stories of the ancient seers, Yajnavalkya was a great rishi, Uddalaka was a great rishi, Bharadwaja was a great rishi, Vasishtha was a great rishi, Vishwamitra was a great rishi, Diridatama was a great rishi. Every rishi had its own unique character. But if you look at the life journey of each and every rishi, they were all aspirants for knowledge, intensely aspiring to gain more and more knowledge. Let me tell you this story of Shvetaketu and Uddalaka. Some of you must be familiar with this story. Shvetaketu was the son of Uddalaka, Rishi Uddalaka. So he was not interested in going to Gurukul and learning. So one day Uddalaka called him and then told him that, look, in our family, in our whole Vansha Parampara, there is no one who is not interested in gaining knowledge. You must go and admit yourself in some Gurukul and learn there. So this is where Shvetaketu goes, admits himself in a Gurukul, and then comes back after 12 years. And then he turned out to be the brightest student among all the students. Every knowledge that you speak of is at the tip of his tongue. And he was very proud of it. After his Dikshanta, after his convocation, his whole education was over in Gurukul, he was coming back. And his father Uddalaka was peeping through the window. And because Shvetaketu is coming, so everyone, that whole village had a celebration. Shvetaketu is coming. Everyone is speaking of Shvetaketu. Here comes Shvetaketu. Here comes Shvetaketu. His father Uddalaka was peeping through the window to know, like, what is his, the way he is talking, the way he is looking, his whole body language. Then Uddalaka was very disappointed. He said, what? This fellow has not learnt anything. Where is the humility? So he seems, he's looking so arrogant. Then when he comes, so Uddalaka asks him, what have you learned? He says, ask me anything under the sun. All the shastras, everything is at the tip of my tongue, my father. I have turned out to be the brightest student. He said, okay. Then Uddalaka asks 3 questions to him. Now another important aspect of our tradition, our knowledge tradition, is question, pariprashna. Entire Upanishad is samvadatmaka, conversation. The disciple asking question and the Rishi's answer, and then you have the Upanishad. I myself have made a compilation of 350 questions from 250 Upanishads, for which the Rishis have given answer to it. Every aspirant goes with a question to the Rishi, says that, okay, this is the question in my mind. So Uddalaka asks 3 important questions, and look at the quality of the questions. It's not any ordinary question. He says, Acha, if you have learnt everything, tell me, what is that knowing which the unseen can be seen, the unheard can be heard, the unthinkable can be thought of. Yena adrishtam drishtam bhavati, asrutam srutam bhavati, amatam madam bhavati. And Shvetaketu is dumb. Because no Shastra can give any answer to it. Where is the realization? Where is the experience? Where is the insight into the Shastra? One may be a Shastra Vetta, but if there is no Swayam Prajna, if there is no Anubhava, if there is no Upalabdhi, then Shastra is not going to do anything. Shastra becomes a bhara, a burden. Okay. So, Shastram bhara avivekina, the one who doesn't have that viveka buddhi, that Swayam Prajna, Shastra becomes a bhara, burden. There are many people who know the Shastra, but they cannot answer this question that day what Uddalaka asked. Shwetaketu said, I'm sorry, Father, I do not know. Why my gurus didn't ask me these questions, teach me these things? Perhaps they didn't know. So since you have asked this question, my father, can you answer me? He said, yes, of course, I will answer to you. Then again, the whole process of learning happens. And beautiful story in the Chandogya Upanishad, it's a long story. You can see that how through Drishtanta, through Udaharana, through examples, Uddalaka teaches him. Maybe the first part of the story I will just narrate in 1 minute. So, Uddalaka says that we have a huge banyan tree in front of our courtyard. So go and fetch a banyan fruit. So Shwetaketu goes and then brings a banyan fruit. So Uddalaka says, break it. So he breaks it. Then he says, what do you see inside? He says, I find so many seeds. He said, pick up one seed, break it. So he has broken it. He said, what do you find inside that seed? He said, nothing, some little fiberish thing, fibers. And he said, can you break it further? He said, it cannot be broken further, it is so tiny. So what do you find inside that? He said, nothing. Then Uddalaka says, what you call nothing? Out of that, this huge banyan tree has come. The huge banyan tree is the result of a single seed. That means that this huge tree is there inside, potentially in that seed. Then he said, Tattvamasi, you are that. Realize that. That means there is something deep within us, which is the cause of this entire creation. Know that, and knowing that, all will be known. So this is how he gives an example. The story is not over. Why I say it is a quest for learning, quest for knowledge, which is at the center of our knowledge system. Then Shwetaketu feels that okay, he has learned all the Shastras from the Gurukula, and then he has learned it from his father, the 3 important questions. Now he can go and debate with others. In spite of his father telling him no, not to go, he went to a king Pravahan, where he said that I have come to debate with you. He said, no, you are too small, too junior to debate with me. If you want to debate with me, debate happens only between 2 equally knowledgeable people. I cannot debate with you. So you go your home, take some cows, take some money, and then go. He said, no, I want to debate. I can prove yourself that I am eligible. Then Pravahana asks him 5 important questions, for which he has no answer. So there is no end to knowledge. One cannot say that I know everything. That's why I tell my students that every day you all should visit library. Just look at the books. Then you will realize you are not even a single book, a single page of a book. That creates the sense of humility. So many ways people think, so many ideas, so much of knowledge. Where do we stand? That's why visiting a library, it creates that sense, it gives us that sense of humility. Every day one should visit library and see that how many different ideas and how many different ways people think and then write books. We are nowhere. We are not even a single book. So, Pravahana asks these 5 questions and Shwetaketu has no answer to it. Very disappointed, he comes back. He tells his father, what did you teach me? I couldn't answer the 5 questions. Didn't you know answer to these 5 questions? Why didn't you teach me? Uddalaka says that believe me, if I had answered to these questions, I would have definitely taught you. But believe me, I also never heard these questions before. I do not know answer to these questions. Since Pravahana has asked, let's go together and learn about it. A rishi of Uddalaka's stature is telling his son that let's go together. He is ready to go with his son. Spare as much time as he could and learn it from King Pravahana. So he goes to Pravahana. Pravahana, he says that you asked these 5 questions. My son had no answer to it, even I do not have the answer to it. Can you teach me? So Prabhupada says, you have to wait. So for 1 year, he had to wait patiently in his court, just to get answer to these 5 questions. Patiently, not asking any question. Then when the time came, Prabhupada told him that, look, now it's the time that I should transfer this knowledge. This is again the story in Chandra Upanishad. He says, you are a Brahmana, I am a Kshatriya by temperament. And believe me, this knowledge, what I am going to impart you today, it's not imparting the knowledge, I am transferring this knowledge for the first time. And this knowledge was never with the Brahmanas, it was always with the Kshatriyas. And for the first time in the history, that this knowledge is going to be transformed from a Kshatriya, from the domain of Kshatriya to a domain of Brahmana. And you being a Brahmin, I cannot be your teacher, I cannot teach you as the teacher, but I can transfer this knowledge as a friend. Come, hug me, become my friend. As a friend, I can share this knowledge and transfer it. This is how the knowledge transmission happened, from the guru to the disciple, from friend to friend, from the knowledgeable people to knowledgeable people. And then again, look at the quest for knowledge. Uddalaka, while he was staying in Pravahana's court and learning from him, another 5 aspirants, young students, they wanted to know about Vaishwanara Vidya. They wanted to learn. So they went to Uddalaka, knowing that he has the knowledge of Vaishwanara Vidya. Now, Uddalaka said that, okay, I know Vaishwanara Vidya, but I am not confident teaching it to us. I have the knowledge of it, but I cannot teach it because I am not confident of teaching. But I know another Rishi who is confident of teaching. Let's all go together and learn. I am also joining with you all. Let's go together and learn from him. So this is how the knowledge tradition, the Rishi, with much humility have learned, and wherever they have found that there is truth, there is knowledge, they have went there, stayed patiently and learned that, and whenever they became confident, then only they taught it. This has been our tradition. This is how we have kept alive the knowledge tradition. Now, coming to what is there in the knowledge tradition, there is much information available today. You go to the internet, it is flooded with information. Every branch of science, you talk about metallurgy, physics, chemistry, zoology, geology, life science, biology, embryology, what not. We invented the mercury, we invented zinc, we invented iron, we had the process of everything. But today, many of the people who are believers in the modern science and technology, they can't even believe to their eyes, like how we could create the stainless steel. There's no jump. You go to the Konark temple, even at present also you can go and then find that the beams, the iron beams which were removed from the temple, they are lying on the courtyard. In the rain, in everything, you can go there, there is no rust, it cannot get rust. How could they create? And the story is endless. The story is endless. I give the example of the temples. Today, with sophisticated knowledge, sophisticated technology, we have sophisticated ingredients. We build bridges, we build towers, we build monuments. Tell me, what is the life of a bridge? What is the life of a tower? What is the life of a monument? All the great architects, engineers, all those who are involved can guarantee only 100 years with a high maintenance cost. With a high maintenance cost. Some of you may be, sitting here, maybe, like dealing with such things. So, with what high maintenance cost you can preserve a building, or tower, a monument, a bridge, which is built using the highly sophisticated technology. highly sophisticated ingredients, but still we cannot make it sustainable without this maintenance, proper maintenance. But look at 2000 years before, 1500 years before, our sthapatis have built temples. Do you think no environmental crisis takes place in those places? And what is the maintenance cost of a temple? Zero. They stand with the, like heads high. Nothing happens, and you go and stand in front of a temple, you will understand the vastness. You can feel that anandya, that expansion. You can get aligned because the whole building, the whole structure is well aligned with the laws and processes of the nature. It is aligned with the whole universe. You can see yourself because what they have created is not something which is not connected with oneself. So what they have created is that the temple is just me outside me. The same principle of the creation, they could find out the principle of creation and they have created, like as the God has created us, this human being, paying his runa, deva runa, by creating something like this, which becomes a reminder of like who I am. This is what is Atma Jnana. Now you just see the whole human affair in a temple. If you have visited a temple, go to the ancient temples, you will find three panels. The base panel will be always, what will you find in the base panel? Anyone who has visited, can you tell me? What will you find on the base panels? What images? It's all animals. In the base panel you will find all animals. And in the middle panel you will find all the human affairs. And in the top panel you will find all the non-material forces, all the gods, goddesses, gandharvas and so many things. And at the end you will not find anything. It is Ananda, Krishna. This is our life's journey. If we do not understand this, it is difficult to understand the Indian knowledge system. Tantra, the temple is built based on the vision of the Tantra. So what the Tantra says, what is the purpose of life? The very purpose of life is expansion of consciousness. Expansion from what? From what level we have to go to what level? We have to go, so Tantra says that everyone born and lives in ordinary consciousness is limited by many limitations. Our mind is limited, body is limited, our pranic satta is limited. So when our consciousness is limited, we are pashu. We are pashu, animal, bound by many boundaries, many limitations. And if we remain limited and narrow, we can operate only from a meanness and narrowness, and that's what is the root cause of all human crisis. That's where Arjuna says to Krishna, he says, Karpanya doshopahata svabhava. My entire svabhava is affected by this Karpanya dosha. This Karpanya dosha is nothing but a shrunken consciousness, very constricted, narrow, mean consciousness. And this causes the problem. That's why the only solution that the Shastras give, that if you want to have a tangible solution to any of your problems, individual or collective problem, the solution is there in the expansion of consciousness, not in the narrowness of consciousness. So life's journey has to be, man has to move from the state of man animal to man human to man divine. This is what is our journey. And a temple becomes a reminder to us, man animal to man human to man divine. And the temple is built in such a manner, like a flame. This is the flame of our aspiration. It reminds us that this flame of aspiration has to burn intensely within us, that we must travel from our limited consciousness to the unlimited. Because unlimited, that Brahman, Brahmata Laksha Muchyate, this is what is the meaning, Brahmata Laksha Muchyate, that all expansion is our Laksha, is the very purpose of life. And if we can organize our lives around this, what our ancient seers and sages did, they carried this aspiration, intense aspiration. this quest for knowledge, knowing more and more and more and more. Pick up any mantra in the Rig Veda, in the Yajurveda, in the Atharva Veda, Sama Veda, in the Upanishads, in the Gita, in Tantra. What depth of knowledge you find, not even a mantra, even in a particular word that you find. That shows the depth, breadth, height, length of the Indian knowledge tradition. So this is where we need to put much effort, conscious effort, as Swamiji says, that what is demanded of us is a conscious effort, and this conscious effort can lead us towards the super-conscious illumination and enlightenment. So from the our conscious effort, sincere effort, can lead us towards the super-conscious illumination and enlightenment. It raises us to that level where we have that knowledge, knowing which all is known. This is what was the aspiration. So, at the center of Indian knowledge system, we have the quest for knowledge. The processes by which the knowledge was gained, the discipline which was created. Nothing can happen without a discipline. And look at what was the discipline of the realization of everything. So we said one adhikari, Veda. Who is adhikari? Say for example, like we have to learn to the Gita. And today I say that in India, every child, right from the childhood, forget about childhood, I will, promote this idea of prenatal education. That it has to start much before the child is born. A couple goes with a 1.5 years child to their guru, says that Guruji, because of your prasad, because of your blessings, we have this child, and today we have brought before you. When should we start his education? The Guru said, you are coming 2.5 years late. The education of the child must begin right from the moment of conception. Right from the moment of conception, that is how a Prahlad is born, that is how a Dhruva is born, that is how a Ashtavakra is born, that's how a Abhimanyu is born. And we have plenty of such stories, that's how a Lava Kushas are born. So, and it is they who created the knowledge system. So it has to start from there. So every child in India, first, we have to make Sanskrit compulsory. In all schools, in all families. If the schools are not offering, all the mothers should make it a point that I am going to teach my child Sanskrit right from the beginning. They should know about the Gita, Veda, Upanishad, Tantra, definitely. All philosophical texts, all the important concepts and ideas right from the beginning. If the Indian children are not knowing this and growing up by being ignorant of this, so what causes is like what we are facing today. A huge erosion of the value system. Today, people have not, the young minds, they don't know where from the milk comes. You ask them, we have seen this, the young kids, they say that cows give milk. We have never seen, and if you show them how the milking happens and the cow gives milk, it's a story for them. It's a surprising story for them. They get shocked, they become shocked that the cows give milk. We thought that we get the milk from the supermarket. We get the rice from supermarket. They have no contact with the nature. They have not heard the word, like Veda, Upanishad, Gita, Ramayana, Mahabharata. And if you teach them about Valmiki, if you teach them about Vyasa, if you teach them about Vasishtha, Vishwamitra, they said that why are you teaching us these religious characters? Literally they say it, they complain about it. They don't know the value of it. Because we have failed to educate them right from the beginning. We have given them certain education, the education which has divorced them, distanced them from what is their own, what is our own. So we have distanced our own children from our own values, from our own Swabhava and Swadharma. Each nation has its own Swabhava and Swadharma. So we have to make them aware of this Swabhava and Swadharma of Bharat right from the beginning. Every child has to be acquainted with the language, acquainted with the whole knowledge tradition. That's why the NEP gives so much of importance to Bharatiya Jnana Parampara. But there is a great responsibility on every one of us. So how do we implement it? How do we take it forward? What do we do with this knowledge tradition, with this knowledge system? The repository of knowledge which is there. And then how do we, this knowledge acquisition and then promotion, propagation, what is the discipline, what is the process, we all need to know. Look at like how debate happened. The whole Vada Parampara, look at it. Today we hear that we didn't have proper methodology of writing history, we didn't have research methodology. Go to the Shastras, there is a particular section called Tantra Yukti. This Tantra Yukti is today what we are teaching in a research methodology, like how to present a paper, how to make your own case, how to validate the knowledge. You will find it in Tantra Yukti, step by step. Go to Mimamsa, go to Vaisheshika Nyaya, Darshana. You will find the processes of how knowledge is generated, how truth is validated. If we didn't have a methodology, just tell me, ask anyone. In research methodology, we teach as chapterization. There is a process by which the chapterization happens. How did Vyasadeva did the chapterization of the entire Mahabharata containing 1 lakh verses, 100,000 verses? One cannot even question that, okay, this story is not, matching with this chapterization. Stories within story, stories within story, stories within story. From beginning to end, no one can question this chapterization, this structure. How did Sushruta write his Samhita? How did Charak present his Samhita? How did Bhatta present Ashtanga Hridaya, his Samhita? How did Panini write his Ashtadhyaya? The most amazing text, the magnificent example of human acumen, human mind, human intellect in Panini. Every child, I was telling you that every child in India, you teach them the Maheshwara Sutras. Maheshwara Sutras. The story of Maheshwara Sutra is that Panini, he was a dull student in the classroom. He couldn't do good. So he was advised by his guru, Varsha, to go and meditate. So he went and meditated on Shiva. And then Shiva got pleased. And then he played his Damaru 14 times. Nanada Dhakkam Navavanchavaram. Then from these 14 times of Damaru, what came is these 14 sutras. Ayom, Rudruk, Ayom, Ayots, Ayavar learn, Yamangananam, Japan, Ghadadash, Jabagadash, Kapachatata Chatapav, Kapai, Shashashar Hal. Believe me, if every child is given these 14 sutras and reciting it on a daily basis, that child can never develop any kind of speech related disorder and disability, guaranteed. It can never happen. And today many children in India are suffering from speech related disorders and disabilities because of the English education. Go to any Gurukula where the Vedas are taught, Sanskrit is taught right from the beginning. Go to the village where only through Odia medium or Bengali medium or Marathi medium the children are taught. You will not find children with speech related disorders and disabilities. You will find it in the urban areas where children study in the convent schools, English medium schools, where they are taught English. Because English language is such that it doesn't use the entire nervous system here. Because it doesn't have the complete sound system. Sanskrit is the only language which has got the complete sound system in the sense that every aspect of the human mouth anatomy, all the speech apparatus, they are activated, they are used, starting from A to H. This is the science behind it. This is the science behind it. I will tell you that if you have a sinus problem, if you have nasal congestion, out of these 14 sutras, just repeating Yamangananam, 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 repeat it as many times as you can in a day. Within 3 months, your sinus, your nasal congestion, your migraine will disappear. You don't need to go to a doctor. This is experimental. So many people I have suggested it and so many people it has helped. You can use this language as a healing tool. But we discard it in the name of religion. We discard it in the name of outdated, archaic. What do we have to do with it? It is such a scientific and systematic language. I was sharing this with, like most of the speech pathologists. They work out with many plastic surgeons, deal with cleft palate patients. So any plastic surgeon doing a surgery has to have a speech pathologist for the pre-surgical and post-surgical evaluation of the speech pattern of the patient. Most of the speech pathologists, they use the IPA model, International Phonetic Alphabet Model. What you find in Wikipedia and dictionaries, the pronunciation key. But IPA model is not as scientific as the Sanskrita Varnamala. The way sounds are organized in Sanskrita Varnamala, it is highly systematic. No one can challenge. You can say like why A comes first, then A, then E, then E. Why Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha, Ng come first, then Cha, Cha, Ja, Ja, then Ta, Tha, Ta, Ta, Na. It's highly scientific. No one can deny about that. So this has been our tradition. I was talking about Panini. See, in 800 BCE, or some people who say 600 BCE or 400 BCE, whatever his time may be historical, we didn't give much importance to historicity. We believed in timelessness. This is what is the beauty of our tradition. We believed in timelessness. We believed in Anantya, endlessness. There is no finality. Science believes in finality. Our Rishi tradition never believed in finality. There cannot be a finality. It continues. That's why our tradition is rooted in Pranava, ever new. There cannot be any finality. So Panini, whatever his age may be, the time immemorial, he has created Ashtadhyaya in such a manner that today great computer scientists, they're struggling to understand like how did he create a single line out of 4,000 compact sentences called sutras. If you remove a single sutra, remove a single word, single sound, when Patanjali says ardhamatra, varnenapina anarthakena bhavitum arahati, single varna you remove, the entire system becomes affected. It is a perfect software programming without the help of hardware. This is the truth. How did he create? That he systematized a language through which, by following the Paninian system, one can generate, because it's a generative grammar, where one can generate 300 millions of words. 300 millions of words. If you put together the dictionaries, the vocabularies of all the languages of the world, more than 7,000-8,000 languages, dialects, sub-dialects, nothing can match to the wealth of vocabulary of Sanskrit. This is our tradition. This is our knowledge tradition. But how did they create this? The discipline that we need to bring back. We need to bring back. The story is long. You pick up any Rishi. Just imagine, like I was in 2018, I was appointed as an adjunct professor in Madras IIT, where I used to teach a course called Aesthetics in Design. Indian perspective. So many people question, like in design, Indian perspective, how? If it is in some other field, domain, it's fine. How in design? What they designed? I gave the example, just one example. Who is the father of surgery? If this question is asked, what will be the answer? Sushruta. Can any surgery happen without the surgical instruments? Sushruta created surgical instruments, 121 surgical instruments. You had blunt instruments, sharp instruments. You had needles. How did he create? Today, someone came to give a lecture on biomimicry, which is again a catchword, bio-inspiration. I challenged him. I said that what you are claiming that biomimicry, bio-inspiration is something the Europeans and Westerns have contributed, it's wrong. Put a cross mark. Bio-inspiration, biomimicry has been a integral part of our knowledge tradition. Like Sushruta, for creating the different surgical instruments, studied very closely the phenomenon in the nature, the beaks of many birds, the jaws, the paws of many animals, and then mapped them, and then created instruments like Kaka Mukha, Kanka Mukha, Baka Mukha, Vyaghra Mukha. He named them. Look at the taxonomy, how they named. You can easily understand, and this is how linked. Everything has been, taken from the nature. Our knowledge tradition is such that if you remove nature from it, there is no Indian knowledge tradition. Nature was a conformation to the knowledge, to the experiences, to the realizations. So, Sushrutas, this one example of how did he create the surgical instruments entirely inspired by the nature. This is what is bio-inspiration. This is what is biomimicry. And then you come and tell me that it is a Western and European contribution. No. That is where we need to know and get acquainted with our knowledge tradition. So then we can have a solid, convincing answer to the people who make such false claims. At the same time, as Swamiji says, that there should not be unnecessary glorification of our tradition. There has to be a deeper understanding of the tradition, understanding of the knowledge, the relevance of it, and then put it into practice. Swamiji says that merely glorifying the rishis is not a not paying tribute to the rishis in a true sense. That we must become rishi. We must have to evoke that rishitva within us. Because within every one of us, a rishi is potentially there. This is where the discipline and the whole purpose of life, the sarthakata of life, is evoking that and manifesting that rishitva, so then we can understand. I would like to end it what Swamiji has said, what Sri Aurobindo had said, that what is necessary, what is the most important task of ours that has been given to us, or that we have to keep always with us. Sri Aurobindo summarizes it very beautifully. He says, the first task of India is to recover the spiritual wisdom, the spiritual force, which is at the center. If you look at Swamiji, when he speaks of this Indian knowledge tradition, he says that for every knowledge, every invention, every new thing that we learn, where from it comes, the origin of everything is attached with the divinity. If there is a Srinivasa Ramanujan making a new unique contribution, then you find that he is inspired by the Devi. He gives the credit of the entire knowledge to a Devi. This is where it comes. The divinity is at the center. The divine origin of everything. That is again at the center of that spiritual wisdom, that spiritual force, that divinity that we have to recover. And with this recovery, we have to percolate that wisdom into every aspect of life and use that for finding lasting solution to every crisis that the humanity is facing. This is the task. And if we can do that, then we can do justice to the Indian knowledge tradition or Indian knowledge system. Thank you.
You're all aware that Sanskrit was declassified by the Britishers to colonize us, absolutely. Mishra ji is a protagonist to re-nurture and revamp our golden heritage. He is no less than a true patriot. It has been a very, very enlightening session. And now we have a short interaction. So all of you can interact with the speaker directly or ask questions by writing in the papers. Our volunteers will help you for that. If you open the folders, you will see our feedback form. It is much appreciated if you could probably fill in the forms and then hand it over to our volunteers who will come to collect it. So the session is open to the speaker.
All my honor to you, and I'm really speechless, as madam has already said, the way you have explained the Indian knowledge system. I have a small, it might be called jigyasha, like when we call the basic of any language is Sanskrit, when it comes to Bharat, then how we explain the originality of Tamil language, which is known from the subcontinent, which is the origin of the subcontinent India. And what about the people which argues when we go to the detail, like I am not an expert of it, so I want to know from you, sir. How we call like Sanskrit as an Indo-Aryan language, or it's an Indo-European language, as people has always debated, and Tamil is always told by many that it's the origin of the subcontinent India. So how we actually explain it? Thank you, sir. I am Dr. Judy Sharma Baldwin. I am a spokesperson of BJP from Assam.
Thank you. So, my claim here is not that Sanskrit is the oldest language or the original language. We have to be very clear about it. Tamil and Sanskrit, they coexist. They are cognate languages, sister languages. So it is not wise to say that Sanskrit is originated from Tamil or Tamil is originated from Sanskrit. Both the languages had a different origin. And when we come to this Indo-Aryan or Indo-European, so most of the linguistic divisions into families, if we look at the philosophy of language from the Rishi's perspective, these are all artificial formation of families. There's no solid base, because the comparative philologists, they gave stress only to the communicative aspect, the surface level. What they looked at is the sound similarity. Pita, father, pater, pita, pitru, like this, or mata. Whichever languages didn't have the similar sounding words for the family relations, they separated them. But they didn't ask this question, what Tamil used for father. Tamil uses appa. What is the root sound of it? Up. And then you find a root sound in Sanskrit, up. Apa means water, which is a source of creation. Without water, there is no creation. You have the word apatyam. Apatyam for progeny, child, coming from the same root. Like if Tamil has preserved appa, the generator, Sanskrit has preserved apatyam, the generation. So, in the process, in the course of its own journey, every language loses something. The other language coexisting with it, preserves it, some aspect of it. The same way, Greek, Latin, Hebrew, and Lithuanian, Chinese, and so many other ancient languages, they coexisted. They shared experiences. They borrowed from each other. If Tamil and Sanskrit have lost, Greek and Latin have preserved. Lithuanian has preserved. Chinese has preserved. So, this is how it is the journey. And here, we believed in the divine origin of the language. And we believed in the Paravak. If we want to understand anything, we have to go from Vaikari. We have to do that reverse engineering from Vaikari. We have to go to the Para. Then the real understanding will come. Anyway, these are all philosophical. But philologically, the comparative philologists, they didn't give importance to the root sounds. Then where the uniqueness of Sanskrit comes, even though there are so many cognate languages like Tamil, Greek, Latin, Lithuanian and many other languages, Sanskrit is the only language which has preserved till date its transparent system of root sounds and formation of words in a manner in which no language has preserved. Sanskrit is a language which has preserved its own literary record. So that's how UNESCO gives recognition to Rigveda as the ancient most literary record of the entire humanity. So Sanskrit has preserved this. It has lost many things. For example, like Sanskrit lost its spoken form, which Tamil has preserved. Okay. So we look at the languages from this angle. So instead of unnecessarily fighting about the origin, like this language originated from that language, or that language originated from that language. That's why the Tamil also gives credit that it is originated from Shiva. Here also it is originated from Shiva. So when we believe in the divine origin of all languages, then the clash will not be there.
Thank you.
May I?
Yes.
Namaskar. Really feel blessed to listen to this discourse. My question is about that story about Deka and his son and the Gurukul. You know, in a Gurukul, and then, as I know, I might be wrong also, there is the Parabidya and there is an Aparabidya. Aparabidya is mostly to the text and all. Parabidya is about consciousness. In the Gurukul system, was Parabidya was also taught? Parabidya, sorry. Was Parabidya also was imparted?
Yes. So, what was the way? Para and Apara. Apara Vidya is the manifestation at the lower level. It has to culminate in the higher level. This is the journey. If the Apara Vidya is not culminating in the Para Vidya, then the learning is not complete. So the entire thing was taken into consideration, where the gurus guided the disciples how to move from Apara to Para. Yeah, that was the system.
Thank you.
So you told about the Vedas and the Rishis. So somewhere I read something. There is some language called Sandhya Bhasa. And sir, what I remember is that it is told there that
What is it?
that the grammar, but we Patanjali or Panini, whatever the grammar of Sanskrit, that was not actually for the Vedas. Is it, sir?
It is not for the
Vedas.
Oh.
Sir, whether it is, that statement is, sir, right or is
Now see, Panini, when he is, you see, Patanjali writes a bhashya, commentary on Panini's Ashtadhyaya. And Panini's Ashtadhyaya is for both the languages, for the Veda and for the classical language. So I don't know why this doubt should be raised about Panini or Patanjali. So it's for both the languages. And Panini uses the word chandas for the Vedic language. It deals with both. I hope I understood your question and I'm answering in that.
Why the whole session you use the English language, not Sanskrit?
Yeah. That's the situation. Like if I had used Sanskrit, I think I would not have this many people sitting and listening. Yeah. We expect that a day should come where we kevalam sanskritina sambhashanam kurma. Such a good day.
Thank you, Mishra ji. Now I take this opportunity to invite Professor Ramesh Chandra Deka ji to deliver the presidential address.
Namaskar. I would have loved to use Assamese because this question was arised that why it is Sanskrit, but Sanskrit I cannot speak. Hindi is also very, very poor. So I can speak only Assamese and English. So actually after the lecture, so I think after Mishra's lecture, I don't know what I should speak. But I just start with a quotation. Speed is irrelevant if you are going in the wrong direction. This is Mahatma Gandhi. Whatever may be the speed is irrelevant if our direction is wrong. Actually, we are in the wrong direction. Because of that, I think Indian knowledge system, Bharatiya Gyan Parampara, BJP,
Bharatiya Gyan Parampara. So he is very, very essential. Then, to give one example, our Mishra has spoken, he has given many examples. We have learned so much. We are in biological field, in medicine also we have learned so many. So we have also learned something in moon. People also have gone to moon. But with that knowledge, with so much knowledge in medicine, biology, we should have been illness. We should not have any disease. But still we are suffering from many diseases. But in our Indian knowledge system, we go to our Bhagavad Rishi, Sarat Muni. They live for 135 years, 140 years. Their body was very weak, and when they were 2 weeks, they took that disability. So because they did not die because of illness, means this indicates that whatever is our direction, as I told, we are in the wrong direction. And in Bhagavad Gita wrote 2 books. One is Astanga Hridayam, other one is Astanga Sangram. There are 7,000 sloka. How to remain healthy without going to medicine, without going to doctor and without taking medicine. So that was the sutra of that, but we don't have any knowledge about that. So I think we need to go back to Bharatiya Parampara, Bharatiya Gyan Parampara, and also in Western education. So we are in Western education. Everything is think as a materialistic world. There is no spiritualism in that. Even there is no ethics in that system. Ethics is also missing. When I was in Germany, we were having some dinner. One day we were invited for some dinner. I was in a fellowship. In that fellowship, there were about 100 people who were together, and for socialization, they invited for dinner, and we need to share the table whom I do not know. So I should share the table with unknown people, because that is a socialization. That suddenly the person who was sitting with me asked me, I don't understand one thing, how an Indian boy can marry a girl without knowing her for a single day. So then I simply asked, say, you know your wife for before marriage for many years. You lived together for many years. But why there are so many divorce rate? Divorce rate is more than 50%. So I asked them that question. And then I told in Indian system, I explained, of course I will not tell everything here. So I explained the Indian system, and then our divorce rate in ancient time there was 0. Now actually there are many people who are following human culture, and there we get many divorce rate. But that proved that our system was correct. Even USA, Japan, here, and I think today there was some very nice explanation about the learning system. But in our system, there is Vidya, Dodati, Vinaya. Means Vidya among Vinaya. Vinaya tate Patrata, Dhanamaputti, Dhana, Dharma, in USA, Japan, Europe, people are very rich. But are they happy? They are not happy. There are many unhappy people in the street. And if they are happy, why they are having more than 50% divorce rate? Means, but in the Indian law system, it is telling that Dhana Dharma, Tapaha Sukha. If you are rich, you will do Dharma. Then only you will become happy. Otherwise you cannot become happy. If we think that after getting, and Dharma also, it is defined very nicely. I think it is Chiti Kama Dhamastayam
Sosam India Vigraha Dhir Gita Saptama Purva Tasakam Dharma Raksana. And Dharma means what are the characteristics of Dharma? If we have these 10 characteristics, then only you are Dharmic. So I think this was a very nice discussion. I think we should have many more discussion of this kind on Indian knowledge system. So I am taking very long time. I will not take your time today, but I thank Vivekananda Kendra, entire Vivekananda Kendra team for organizing this lecture at Cotton University and also giving me the opportunity to learn so many things from Mishra. Thank you very much.
The atmosphere is so much reverberating with Sampadananda's quest for spreading Sanskrit again. Ramesh has already started speaking some verses in Sanskrit. So next time when you come, I am sure there will be more people to follow. And now I request Dr. Parimal Bhattacharjee, our director, who will now deliver the vote of thanks.
Namaskar. It's the toughest job today. I have given this type of thanksgiving earlier, but today I am a little confused. Should I talk from my heart or from my brain? Brain is lost. Only heart can help me. Friends, we are very happy actually that we have got a person of your nature, Professor Sampadananda Mishra ji, who has given an elaborate thing, and a decolonization is started in our brain. This is to assure the dusts are moving around, the golds are, we can see some golds here. That's why your speech is a milestone from this situation. And we are facing a various types of things. So from the core of my hand, my gratitude on behalf of our chairman, Vivekananda Kendra Institution, and on behalf of all the workers, everybody will thank you. Dhanyavad disu, gratitude. Holakor podai akbar aise. Assamese word is very good in that sense. This is not English, is not enough. Not enough today. I also thank our chief guest, Srimati Seema Rekha Bhuyan, who is a retired Secretary ITFC government. A very nice lady. She, when we went there, her behavior was so nice because she was helping, and she said, "We'll work together with VKIC in near future." In their minutes also it is written. One paragraph was given on VKIC. In that meeting, I was there. So that was the types of collaboration. So thank you very much. ধন্যবাদ জানাইছো এতিয়া তো হলা করে আপনাকে জানাবো লাগিব আৰু ভবিষ্যতে আকো পাম না no more because you will have to be attached with also your knowledge and other things. It will be a great help. Now I also our president, who is presided and who is the Vice-Chancellor of Cotton University, Professor Ramesh Deka, he seems to be a very simple man, but he is very knowledgeable. Very knowledgeable. He is an international famous figure. One day he was speaking in some meeting one line. What is the difference between vegetarian and non-vegetarian? How vegetarian and plants are far away from human life and animals are very closer. So we got all the diseases at that time. This is the one line he said at that time. I will get a talk later. So I remember this, the difference between these two. I also thank our Shiva Progya Initiative, Sri Gautam Prasad Purva. She has already thanks you, but আপনার ধন্যবাদ জানাইছো আকো জাতীয় কাম আপনার ওহাই যদি কাম দেখিছে ইমান ধুনিয়া আপনার কারণে হয়েছে it is nice that so many contribution people do, and contributing in these types of situation is very difficult. I also thank a lot of other senior people here. Our Ajay is a Padrasi, and lot of people. I want to Commissioner Matwase, and Bhuyan Sahab. Such important hold here. Aji amar Mrs. Dipok Barthakur, Kendra se India ji. Kendra kamak dekhi bhag lagi se kana purana kotha. And because I entered into this picture because of Dipok Barthakur, he called me and he said, "Apne join karo, apna evolution ho." More evolution ho. You are from animal. I said, "My background is wildlife and other thing." So he said, and now I can say, he said, "Okay, you know Darwinism and other thing. So you will evolve, you will see this." So they said, "Come down, join here." That was the types of attitude he is today. He called everyone. So he was our guardian for all different types of things. We used to go. Forget about the children and another thing. And I also thank all the background workers, those who are working in day and night for making it a success. Those, of course, the Jivanpati Karyakarta, Shivapati Karyakarta, and the other office staffs of Vivekananda Kendra Institute of Culture. And the Sudmersen Hall, which has been given, even the Sudmersen, who himself would have been there, he would have been like these types of lectures. So I also thank the Sangit, inauguration Sangit Goise, Minati Bormonando, Joyasri Sinha, Monica Mohanto, Onita De, Sushmita Bose. আমি তোমাদের ধন্যবাদ জানাইছো এবং ধুনিয়া গাইছে তোমাদের প্র্যাকটিস করি and all the people who has come here, somebody has left but they have already carried whatever supposed to be carried. So আজি মই সবর ওই বিবেকানন্দ কেন্দ্র ইনস্টিটিউট অফ কালচার হই আপোনালোকৰ খলকৰ হৰাই কৰিছো ধন্যবাদ জানাইছো আৰু প্ৰেছ মিডিয়া ইলেক্ট্ৰনিক আৰু প্ৰেছ মিডিয়া ভাবে তেওঁলোকক আমি ধন্যবাদ জানাইছো ধন্যবাদ আজি আকৌ কেতিয়াবা লগ পাম আপোনালোকক আকৌ ধন্যবাদ জনাবৰ কাৰণে মই থাকিম
While we are at the end of our program, and we will conclude this event with Shanti Mantra by Monica Mahanta Didi, who's a Kendra Karyakarta. But before that, my request goes out to everyone, if you could just fill in the feedback forms and give it to our Karyakartas. As we have gone through the Indian knowledge system, we are taking a little bit of a cue into our research ourselves. So that is why it becomes very important, because we have very, people who are already who have done some research into this, and we would like to get their feedbacks. So I appeal to everybody who is not given the feedback forms to please hand it over to our people. And now we'll call upon Didi. Thank you.
Shanti Mantra. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve